And welcome to the Township Whitewater Region's regular council meeting for Wednesday, April 2nd. We're going to call ourselves to order here at 1:02 p.m. And we'll start with our national anthem. If you can please stand and face the flag. Excellent. And our next is our land acknowledgement. I ask Councillor Moore for today, please.
As we gather, we would like to acknowledge on behalf of the Township of Whitewater Region and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all of the generations of Indigenous people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years.
Thank you. Next item is the adoption of our agenda. The recommendation is that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region approve the April 2nd, 2025 agenda. A mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Tabbert and our Deputy Mayor. Is there any changes that anyone would like to make the agenda as presented? Okay, so seeing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor? And it's carried. Next item is the adoption of minutes. We have a number of minutes attached to this agenda. Regular session from the 19th of March, the closed session from the 25th of March are the two items, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. For some reason it doesn't highlight them in blue, so the first two are the links and the second two are
just the PDFs. Okay, so good. So the recommendation before us is that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region approve the regular session of minutes from March 19th, 2025 and the closed session of minutes of March 25th, 2025, understanding that the closed session minutes remain confidential. A mover and a seconder, please. Moved by the Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Trim. Is there any errors or omissions that need to be brought forward at this time? Okay, I see none, so we'll call for a vote. All those in favor? And it's carried. Thank you. Committees and boards, I'll just note publicly that we have one set of minutes attached to our agenda from Muskrat Watershed. They're minutes from February 20th, 2025, and I'll just give our council lead for Muskrat Watershed if she has anything she wants to add.
Nothing to add.
Excellent, okay. Good. Next is disclosures of interest. Is there any disclosures for any of the items on today's agenda from any of the members of council? And I see none. Good. That leads us into item number 6, which is our presentation. We have one presentation scheduled for today. So I'd ask Kelly, Miss Hollihan, to come to the mic, and I believe she's being introduced by Alex. Alex, thank you.
So Kelly is the Executive Director of the Upper Ottawa Valley Chamber of Commerce and a passionate advocate for business and community growth. With a dynamic career spanning customer service, business leadership, entrepreneurship, and community advocacy, Kelly brings a wealth of experience and dedication to supporting local businesses and fostering economic development. Thank you.
And with that, Kelly, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. That's quite flattering. I may have to borrow from that. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and council and staff. My name is Kelly, and I'm the Executive Director of the Upper Ottawa Valley Chamber of Commerce. We are a membership-driven organization, an association of businesses in the Upper Ottawa Valley, covering 14 municipalities in this region for our catchment area, ranging from Arnprior and what used to be the territory of the Greater Arnprior Chamber of Commerce, including McNabb Braeside and other areas there, all the way up to beyond Deep River with Clarehead and Mariah, and out to Algonquin East. We have Eganville and Killaloe, Haggerty and Richards, and we have Barry's Bay, etc. So it's quite an eclectic group of townships and municipalities, and we have a great collection of member businesses. We have approaching 300 member businesses right now in the region. Probably 80% of those are small and medium enterprises with fewer than 10 employees. Most of those, probably 2/3 of those, have fewer than 7 employees. Which means that really it's the small business network of the region that is the backbone of the Chamber of Commerce, and frankly, as I'm sure you know, the backbone of the local economy here in Renfrew County. Membership with the Chamber of Commerce, it also includes membership with the Ontario Chamber of Commerce and the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. So being a member of our group provides access to tools and resources and people and education offerings and such from across the province, across the country, and ultimately around the world, because Canada is also a member of the World Congress. The chambers have been around for many hundreds of years, and our chamber has been in existence for 67 years. As I said, we're a membership-driven organization. Our primary revenue is memberships. We also provide with those revenues, we provide benefits programs to help our members to manage down the cost of operating their businesses. We provide education offerings, professional development offerings, so that they can grow and strengthen their teams. We have networking and promotion and advertising opportunities so that they can connect with other businesses and connect with people in the area to grow their business. And most importantly, we provide advocacy efforts. And that, as I'm sure you probably understand, in 2025 has been the bulk of what I've been working on with SNAP provincial election, the trade and tariff economic landscape right now, and the federal election. A lot of our efforts right now are around getting the voice of business out to the people who make those decisions so that they understand the impacts of the decisions that they make policy-wise and the actions that they take. So that's a little bit about us. Upcoming, we have an event next week on on April 11th, Friday. And this is our annual conference and summit, the Ottawa Valley Business Summit. It's located at the Best Western Hotel. This year, it's a full-day event. Now, typically, this event would be the one where we hold our AGM. But because of popular demand, our agenda filled right up, and we have no room for our AGM meeting because there's so much opportunity, so many people who are speaking that day. We have the Canadian Chamber of Commerce coming to talk about trade and tariffs, and that they will also participate in that's one of their senior economists. He's also going to participate in our panel discussion with the BDC, Export Development Canada, and owner-operators of major manufacturing operations in this area to talk about the impacts of the tariff and trade battles on the local economy. But beyond that, we also have special guest speakers and workshops that provide education on marketing your business, on HR matters, and on succession planning for your small business, employee ownership, and planning for the future for your business. So that's upcoming. I've been doing a number of these delegations to council recently to meet the local township leaders, to introduce the chamber to those groups, and to request their support. And that's something that I find I don't have to do here in the Whitewater region, because we already have a great deal of support from this team here, and it's very much appreciated. We have participation from this region in our annual awards gala, which is actually a good fundraising opportunity for our chamber too. But it recognizes the accomplishments of the local businesses, and it celebrates them for the rock stars that they are. So that's the chamber and the current activities going on. That's really what I needed to share with the group here today. I'll take questions if there are any.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kelly. And with that, we'll open it up to the floor. Is there any questions from any members of council? None at this point? I've got a couple.
Okay.
These guys hear it all the time. I just wanted to confirm, we are members, a municipal membership within the chamber, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Good. I know that there's a survey that's being done specific to the trade and tariffs.
Yes.
The survey is a combination between your efforts, the Economic Development Department at County, and Community Futures.
That's correct.
Can you speak to that a little bit more, just so we can encourage more participation in that survey?
Oh, that would be great. Thank you. Yes. So this survey is open until tomorrow. And so when the trade and tariffs matters arose in recent weeks, our response as a chamber was to gauge what that means for our members, so that we could bring the impacts to the right people. And the thing about the survey that's important is that it gives us data, right? It tells us 80% expect prices to go up. 2/3 expect that their costs are going to be overwhelming and they may have to reduce operations or reduce staff. So that sort of information is very valuable for us to have, that we can bring forward to the decision makers. But also the stories, the anecdotes. They tell us what this means for you. There are plenty of operations out there that you would think would not be affected because they may not be an importer exporter, but their business relies on the businesses that do that, right? So for example, we heard from a cleaning operation that cleans Airbnbs. Well, they're not expecting as many American tourists this summer. So they're wondering, how is that going to affect my business? So we take that information because you humanize it, and we can then have a more impactful and fulsome report to the province and to the feds.
And if I understand it, in addition to that, if there is going to be a program implemented at the federal or provincial level to try to take some of the impact away from our businesses, this survey is going to help inform our position on that. Is that correct?
That's right. We're looking, our advice to the government agencies involved in that is to target the right sectors with those supports. Yes.
Perfect. One last thing I'm going to throw at you, Kelly, and thank you. I appreciate it. You're not on the hot seat. This is...
oh, sorry.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
My back is sore.
Oh, no.
That's fine.
Oh, no. If you need to sit down,
No,
sit
no,
down.
that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
There was a letter that was distributed in one of your recent mail-outs that the Upper Ottawa Valley Chamber does. And it was a letter, I think, that came from the Chamber, that either the the Provincial Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, Daniel Tish.
Yeah,
Yes.
about colleges and universities and really focusing in on those trades and the future investment into our workforce.
Yes.
Can you speak to that at all? Is that possible?
Sure.
To share your thoughts on it just for a
The
moment?
fear is that right now we need to look forward to what the marketplace of the future looks like, and we need to make the investments in our education in order to provide the workforce for that future marketplace. And we need skilled trades. And enrollment is low, and the funding has been diminished over the years, and there's work that needs to be done for investments there.
Thank you. And I'd encourage, if you want to take a look at that letter online, it's just specifically here in Pembroke, I think of Algonquin College, and they are constricting and cutting out some programs in order to save money from the limit on foreign students. And this letter essentially says you still need to invest because you're shaping the workforce of the future. And that has a particular touch point in Pembroke, in our immediate area.
With our aging population.
With our aging population, yes. Good. I will offer, sorry, I took my questions. Are there any other questions from any other members of council? Good. Anything from the staff that you want to add at this point in time? Excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and share the story, and looking forward to the 11th of April. I think I'm already registered.
Yes. I
Yeah.
look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, sounds great.
Thank you. I appreciate this opportunity. Have a good
Thanks,
afternoon.
Kelly. Excellent. Next item is our mayor's address. And yeah, Kelly, you can stay if you want to, but we will not be offended if you decide to leave. Thank you. Since our last council meeting on March 19th, I've attended 6 meetings and events on behalf of council. One of the events was a celebration of the 5th anniversary of the establishment of the Renfrew County Virtual Triage and Assessment Centre. This unique Made in the County of Renfrew initiative gives members of our community without a family doctor or who cannot access their family doctor access to that medical professional advice. The impact has been incredible, and we know that here in Whitewater, there remains many residents without a primary care provider, and RCVTAC has filled that void for our residents. While I know the optimal end state sees every member of our community attached to a primary care provider, in the meantime, RCVTAC will give us that support until that's achieved. Last week, we had Minister of Health, Sylvia Jones, that visited Renfrew County and recognizing this 5th anniversary and all the incredible folks who have dreamed up, implemented, and advocated for the provincial funds to run it and continue to make it work day in and day out. So I just want to acknowledge and thank these organizers for RCVTAC. It is something that Whitewater needs, and we're thankful for it. I'll also remind everyone again that this is the time of the year when many of our residents are watching the water levels of the Ottawa River. So the freshet has already begun. I've mentioned it before. And we're seeing the huge watershed of the Ottawa River begin to melt and flow into the Ottawa. Our regional freshet meetings have been begun, and Whitewater Region is at the table monitoring the levels, the weather, and access and assessing the potential impact on our community. So you'll see, as you probably already have been tracking on our social media, you're going to see updates that are shared as soon as they're available. And if you're looking for your own information, check out ottawariver.ca, and they will also provide some information on the water levels. Today, April 2nd, is also World Autism Day, and it's a day that provides us an opportunity to provide for positive action and for advocacy for our diverse community. Today, we're flying the flag outside of our municipal office to celebrate autistic people and to bring to light the systemic barriers that must be removed to create a more supportive and inclusive community. So if you're driving in or out, check out the flag and I think it comes down tomorrow morning, but it's up for the full day today. Today is also the day that the U.S. has announced its tariffs. And I don't think they've been announced yet. Otherwise, I think we'd see Kelly on her phone. 4 o'clock, okay. So it's going to be announced later today. Whitewater Region is going to continue to work with the County of Renfrew Economic Development Team, in addition to the Upper Ottawa Chamber of Commerce and our Community Futures organization. Our priorities main to ensure that our procurement instruments internal to our organization allow us to purchase locally, purchase Canadian to the fullest extent possible, and staff are working on that. We also encourage each and every one of our businesses, from our largest employers like Magellan, our Main Street businesses, our seasonal tourism businesses, our ag industry, even our home-based entrepreneurs, to contribute their feedback through the online survey that Kelly mentioned in her presentation, so that we have a good picture of what the tariff impact could be. And this feedback will help us to shape our advocacy efforts and support both our businesses and our residents. So just, we're keeping our finger on that pulse. Maybe I'm sure we'll talk about it more on April 11th, and we'll be able to relay some information. Good. That ends my mayor's report. Does that trigger any questions or comments from council? Good. Oh, we are rolling along. You'd think there was a storm coming. Okay. Excellent. Public comments. Clerk.
We received none.
Excellent. So that leads into our reports. Our first one, 9.1, is about culverts. The recommendation is that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region approve quotation 6725-25.1 from Armtech Incorporated for the purchase of culverts at a cost of $36,195.42, inclusive of non-refundable HST, through the canoe procurement contract CAN 2022-018 ARM. A mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Moore, seconded by Councillor Olmsted. And this is going to our Superintendent of Roads, Mr. Eady.
Thank you, Mayor, through you. So the procurement of the culverts for the 2025 capital road projects, consisting of Grand Settlement, Cemetery Road, and Wallace and Simmons Drive. Public Works staff inventoried and inspected the cross culverts along these roads and determined that 20 culverts are in poor or very poor condition and require replacement. The replacement of the culverts is specified, the replacement culverts specified are the high-density polyethylene or HDPE plastic with a 75-year service life design, ranging from 450 millimeter to up to a 900 millimeter size. The culverts will be invoiced to each capital project and were accounted for within the estimates of the 2025 budget. Thank you.
Perfect, clear. I'll go to the mover first. Councillor Moore, any comments?
Just that I'm in favor. Thank you.
Good. Councillor Olmsted, seconder. No additional. Any other comments or questions? I see Councillor Trim.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, may I have two comments, please? Number one, in preparation for this meeting, I was talking to the manager, Lane, and to satisfy himself, it's well explained in the agenda how the canoe procurement system works, but to satisfy himself, he checked on how he could, two other ways he could have purchased, and this turned out to be the cheapest way, which is it's a consolation that this is a good way of doing it. Secondly, back to what you were commenting about a little bit earlier, I wanted to know where the culverts were made, and they're made in, excuse my probably bad French pronunciation, Saint-Celt in Quebec and Tillsonburg in Ontario. So the culverts are made in Ontario, and they are, according to Lane, the best price and less than last year. And so I was very pleased about that. And also a comment, because I'm stretching it, kind of related to culverts, but I was on the Colesmith Road, the part that was reconstructed, and there's quite a challenge for drainage, and all of this, I'm hoping that the superintendent, I did mention this to Lane, but the superintendent will take back to staff. this year, with the problems we had with washout culverts and that sort of thing, it didn't happen on Smith Road. Very well designed, and I compliment staff for that. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent, thank you, and I think we'll take that back. Good work. Any other questions or comments from members of council? Okay, seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Unanimous, thank you. That carries. Next item is 9.2, which is street sweeping. The recommendation is that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region approve a street sweeping for the 2025 year to 164053 Canada Incorporated, in brackets the Valley Street Sweeping Company, at a cost of $19,232.64, inclusive of non-refundable HST. A mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Moore, Councillor Trim, and back to Superintendent Eady.
Thank you, Mayor. So the Township of Whitewater Region joined the County of Renfrew's Municipal Supply and Service tenders and quotations for street sweeping for a second time. The county tendered PWO-2025-18 street sweeping and received 4 bids. The results for the township portion of tenders range from $18,900 to $40,600. The unit price tender included 140 hours of sweeping for the township's portion, which is based on the average hours in previous years. The sweeping will take place in the villages of Cobden, Beachburg, the hamlet of La Paz, Forsters Falls, Westmeath, Haley Station, and Haley's town site. The tender stated that sweeping must be completed by May 23rd, 2025. The township staff will work with the successful contractor to schedule sweeping as early as possible. In 2024, the street sweeping took place from May 10th to May 18th, when deficiencies were completed by June 3rd. The sweeping of the major rural intersections, sidewalks, and municipal parking lots is completed internally by the Public Works staff and equipment. And the 2025 operating budget includes $25,000 for street sweeping, and the 2025 hourly rate for sweeping is approximately 5% lower than 2024. Thank you.
You're full of good news today. Excellent. Okay. Councillor Moore, you're the mover. Any comments or questions?
I was surprised at the bids when they came in this year, and we certainly couldn't purchase and run this equipment on our own with the cost that we're accepting today, so I'm in favor. Thank you.
Excellent. And seconder is Councillor Trim. No other comments? Any other comments? Questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor? It's carried, unanimous. Excellent. 2 for 2. Good. Next item on the agenda, 9.3, is tenders for banners. The recommendation is that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region approve the award of tender 2025-02 banners to Kruger Signs at a cost of $41,612.25, inclusive of HST. And can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Olmsted and Councillor Tabbert. Good. Our planner, Alex P.
Thank you very much. All right, so back in 2022, the township was awarded a wayfinding signage grant, and a portion of that grant was used to design seasonal banners, which will be hung in the villages and hamlets in Whitewater Township, Whitewater Region. So the design can be seen in attachment 1 of the report. So the present tender was for the printing of the banners as well as the provision of the hardware needed to install the banners. The tender was opened on February 6th and closed on February 26th, and 2 addenda were issued during that time. On February 26th, there was a public tender opening held here in council chambers, and in total we had received 7 bids. Of the 7, of those that qualified, the range of prices was from $41,612.25 to just over $63,000. And that was to supply us with 125 summer banners, 125 winter banners, a proof of each banner, as well as the hardware kits and setup fee. So in the end, after doing all the reviewing, the Kruger Signs met all the specifications for the tender and had completed all the submission requirements and was also the most economical bid. So that's why I'm recommending that this be awarded to Kruger Signs. This project fulfills, in part, the goal of the 2020-2030 strategic plan by investing in the beautification of villages and hamlets. The engagement process for this tender, the tender was issued in compliance with the township's procurement policy, and the operating budget, for financial implications, the operating budget actually included $50,000 for banners and streetscaping, so we're within that budgeted amount. So if approved, the next steps would be for staff to provide the letter of award to the bidder, and then also while we are waiting for the banners to be manufactured and delivered, staff will be investigating options for the installation. So we'll be renting equipment, etc. So the installation costs are expected to be within staff's procurement limits and also within the limits of the approved budget. And that is my report.
Perfect, thank you. Mover was Councillor Olmsted. Any comments or questions?
No comments, thank you.
Good. Councillor Tavert, secondary.
Yes. When this was brought to council a while back, I can remember we had discussions about putting snowmobiles up in the snow. And that was going to be, I thought that was going to be added, but is there a reason why?
I can look into that, but I wouldn't be able to answer that question right off the top of the hat, or just off the cuff, because I wasn't around for those discussions.
Okay.
But you're referring to the winter banner
one,
was
yes.
going to have a snowmobile on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my only concern. Otherwise, I really like them.
Okay.
And if you can't put it in, you can't put it in. But
Okay, but I'll look into it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just confirming that Alex Pisklawicz wasn't with the township at the time of the approval in, I think it was March 2024. I do recall that, and I sourced the PDFs in the folder, so maybe Alex Benzie did get them updated, or Mrs. Gill, but we'll confirm that and get it amended and get it fixed before we issue for manufacturing. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very sharp memory. And now that you've said it, I can remember the discussion about the skidoos, and it is an important part of the community. So, yeah, thank you so much for catching that. Good, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one question. Do we know the life expectancy of those banners?
It's funny that you asked the question. So there's many factors that are going to be, that would be taken into it. So the amount of light it's going to be exposed to, wind, weather conditions. But in general, we're looking at about a minimum 5-year lifespan. I'm not a professional, but from my understanding. But I can follow up with the manufacturer as well to get a more solid response.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good. I'm going to add to the Deputy Mayor's comment. So, the CAO knows where it's going. So if we want to keep these signs, we have to plan to replace a certain portion over a 5-year period, right? Just life cycle them. Good. I'm getting nods. Excellent.
I also include, like, we've ordered more banners than are needed every year, so we'll already have a little bit of a back stock of extra flags or banners for immediate replacement if needed. But yeah, just so you're aware that there is a little bit of a backup there.
That's perfect. Thank you. I just wanted to acknowledge that it's an ongoing cost in some ways to maintain that level of service. Good. Any other questions from members of council? Good. Seeing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor? And unanimous. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, 9.4, is the Whitewater digital kiosks. The recommendation is that the Council of Township Whitewater Region approves the use of tourist booth reserves to fund the township's portion of a Whitewater digital kiosk project supported by a grant from the Renfrew County Community Futures Development Corporation. And a mover and a seconder, please. I'm going to go Councillor Trim and Councillor Tabbert. And this is going to Ms. Gill.
Hi. So in February 2025, the township applied for and successfully obtained the Renfrew County Community Development Fund offered by the Renfrew County Community Futures Development Corporation. The project, the grant provides a non-repayable funding up to 50% of eligible costs. And it's meant to support initiatives that improve the local economy and local businesses, including tourism initiatives, technology and innovation projects, marketing promotional activities, to name a few. So the project we identified for the grant is the Whitewater digital kiosks, which includes adding 2 kiosks to the tourist booth. So one will be a desk stand. So it's a stand and it'll have a tablet on there that will sit on the desk when you walk into the tourist booth if you've been there. And then the other one is going to be a floor standing, which is a much larger screen. It's a 21.5 inch screen, so that's meant to be easier for people who can't, we want to recognize that some people don't do well on small screens, so then we'll have 2 there. So it's going to be used primarily to display the explorewhitewaterregion.ca website, which is yet to be officially launched, but it was created through the Rural Economic Development Grant at the end of last year. So that's essentially we took a report to council a few months ago about that grant and the creation of the activity guide. So that's the digital version of that activity guide, which we opted to do as a website as opposed to a PDF version, so that it's more accessible. So that website features places to eat, stay, things to do, and it also includes our natural assets such as parks and trails. And then it provides marketing for businesses, because when you're on the website, you can click through directly to their own websites or social media pages, which is great for improving, their marketing. We also hope to display on the kiosk is the Ottawa Valley Tourist Association website and access to Google Maps for people to get directions. So the kiosks have full Wi-Fi internet ability, and there's already Wi-Fi at the tourist booth, so it should work well. The project was chosen for a few reasons. So the tourist booth volunteers who have been volunteering there for I don't even know how long, many years, have expressed desire to have a tablet there so that they can actually look stuff up themselves. So it'll function kind of in 2 ways, where they can assist tourists better, and then it'll also display the Explore Whitewater website. And then the tourist booth features lots of brochures, which is awesome, but it doesn't actually have a lot of brochures and print marketing materials for our small businesses. So unless somebody has like a set menu, they might not have anything there. In fact, most of our main street here in Cobden, most of the Beachburg and Westmeath, they don't have any marketing materials there, versus it is on the website. So now they are actually being marketed there, which is great. Yeah, and that's pretty much all from me. Now the financial implications, sorry, apologies, so the project was not included as part of the 2025 approved budget. The total project cost is $5,332.92, including non-refundable HST. As noted below, the Community Futures, in the report, as noted below, the Community Futures Development Fund is contributing $2,227.54. And so staff are recommending the utilization of the tourist booth reserve and the current operating budget for the tourist booth to fund the remainder of the project. Thanks.
Excellent, thank you. Our mover, Councillor Trim, any comments or questions?
Just a quick comment. Mr. Mayor, I confirm that staff will be able to update the information as it's needed, so it can be done in-house, and that's good. Thank you.
Excellent, good news. And Councillor Tabbert, the seconder. Any other comments from other members of council? Yes, Councillor Moore.
Just curious, and I guess this goes to the treasurer. Will this deplete funds in that account, or is there still money there should there be things that need to be fixed at open time?
Specific, you're talking about reserves or operating or both?
Reserves.
Yeah, so under the reserve portion, back in 2017, there was $2,000 allocated to that budget line item, and that's the only thing that's ever been allocated to that line. Typically, anytime any other projects came out of it, it came out of the working capital reserve or the capital reinvestment reserve. And I'll be bringing a report to council shortly to look at consolidating some of these reserves. That is one that was going to be consolidated, or my recommendation was consolidated into recreation. So just using it up ahead of time it would still be consolidated, and I would have recommended coming out of the recreation reserve anyways. So yes, it will fully deplete that reserve, but the portions for the tourist booth for the general side are come out of either the recreation reserve or the capital reinvestment side.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No, I think just before I call for the vote, I'll recognize that the initiative staff had to go out and seek this grant for a way for us to invest in our economic development. I think it's a great initiative, and our contribution is, very favorable. So I appreciate the work that went into applying for the reserve, or sorry, for the grant to get us to this point. Good, no other questions? I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? And it's carried unanimously. Thank you. Good. Next item, 9.5, is our 2024 Community Improvement Plan summary. So the recommendation is that the Council of the Township Whitewater Region receive this report for information purposes regarding the 2024 Community Improvement Plan program. A mover and a seconder, please. So Councillor Moore, a seconder, please. Sure. Councillor Trim. And back to Mrs. Gill.
Okay, so as per our community improvement plan CIP policy, we are to bring a annual report to council with a summary of our CIP grants that have gone out. So just to give you a quick overview of the CIP, the community improvement plan was passed in 2017 and 2018. Its aim to support and encourage improvements and the revitalization of public and private property, and the program has 2 phases. So phase 1 is for our villages and hamlets, so Beachburg, Cobden, Westmeath, La Paz, Foresters Falls, and Haley Station. And there's the grants for those are focused on accessibility, building facade and property improvement, sign improvement, heritage property improvement, and planning application and building permit fee grant. And then phase 2 is for mostly for agriculture and environmental. So we have septic systems, we have cattle fencing, shoreline restoration, wow, I can't say this word today. Restoration, agricultural buffers, agriculture value added, and brownfield rehabilitation. So the eligibility requirements, you'll see, actually I included at the end is the brochures for the CIP, which we market it with. But generally, it provides 50% of the project cost up to a certain amount depending on the grant. So that varies depending on which one within the 2 phases. And the process is basically we receive the applications, and then we create a report. The report is sent to a committee, and the committee votes on it, and then ultimately is passed. And then once they get an approval letter, they have 1 year to complete the project. So historically, and in 2025, council allocated $15,000 for the CIP program as part of the annual budget, and it's quite successful. The funding is generally allocated in the first 2 quarters of the year, and that's pretty consistent. So in 2024, we received 4 applications for the CIP program before having to turn projects away due to the funding being fully allocated. So that included 82 Jordana Trail, which was a septic system improvement. That status is complete. We had the 9 Hannah Street, which is the Beachburg Lion Club, and they had an accessibility improvement planning application and permit fee grant, and they've withdrawn. I'll get into that. 16 Pembroke Street is Easy Elegance, and they had a building facade and property improvement, signage improvement, and parking and landscaping improvement grant. So that one's in progress. It's partially underway. They're waiting until the spring to complete. And then 78 Pembroke Street, the Whitewater Brewery is parking and landscaping and signage improvement, and again, they are partially completed. So I just want to note, so the Beachburg Lions Club withdrew their application because it was hindering on another larger successful grant, because their project is of a larger scale, and because they were unsuccessful in that grant. They have reapplied for this year. They've reapplied for our CIP as well as for the larger grant to fund the rest of the project. So our CIP supports our strategic plan. It supports the township's growth and economic development, supports retention expansion of existing businesses, and attracts new economic development, and proactively addresses water quality to protect the township's water bodies and drinking water. So that's primarily towards the environmental grants. And then the report supports the strategies for the 2025 Community Development Work Plan, which is to continue to deliver our CIB programs. So we're going to continue to obviously advertise, receive, and process applications. We've already received 3. And the next steps will be to also finalize those 2024 applications. Again, they have a year, so they're not due yet. And then just final note, the township is going to continue to, so as an introduction to the County of Renfrew's HYPE program, we're going to continue to monitor that and see where it goes. And which is the HYPE program is to supplement local programs. So if you haven't heard of it, it's the HYPE stands for Helping Your Place Excel, and it's kind of like a CIP for municipalities. So the plan is, if it is fully passed and gone through, now they're pending an official plan amendment for that, but it will supplement our it'll supplement our grants. So if we, for example, have a $3,000 limit to our grant for a project, they will give us 50% at $1,500. So then we'll get $1,500, which makes our CIP dollars go further. That's, as far as the latest update from the county, that's the plan there. And they're hoping to launch that early July. I believe there will be they'll report to council likely on the HYPE program once it's closer to being launched, or when it's already launched. And I'm happy to take any questions. Thanks.
Excellent, thank you. I'll go to my mover first, which was Councillor Moore.
Thank you for this. I have no comment, and it's nice to see that people are looking to improve and that we're able to help. Thank you.
Good, and the seconder was Councillor Trim.
Yes, I'd like to echo what Councillor Moore said, and I'm pleased to see that Beachburg Lions Club is continuing to try, and we are hopefully going to be able to help them, because they do an awful lot in the community to help others. So I'm glad to see that back this year, and I really do hope they're successful.
Thank you. And any other comments or questions from members of council? No, we appreciate the update, the annual update. It just reinforces how important this program is. I know probably I can echo on behalf of my council members that we'd love it to be much larger than $15,000, but that's what we could afford this year in our budget planning, and we'll continue to watch it and look for the feedback that you can provide based on the applications. Good. With that, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor? And it's carried unanimously. Thank you. Next item, Library Board appointment. So the recommendation is the Council of Township Whitewater Region enact a bylaw to appoint a new member to the Whitewater Region Public Library Board. A mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Tabbert, seconded by Councillor Olmsted. And this is the clerk. Thank you.
Ms. Megan Suter submitted a letter of interest to become a board member to the Whitewater Region Public Library. That letter was circulated to the board, and the board is in favor of appointing her as a member. Ms. Suter brings extensive experience working in libraries, including being a member of the Redwater Library Board in Alberta. She also has a journalism background. Since 2023, she had lived in Westmeath with her family, and her knowledge and expertise in library operations will be a valuable asset to the board. So if you have any questions. I did it.
Thank you. Mover, Councillor Tabbert, you're also our councillor lead for the library. Any thoughts?
This is greatly appreciated if you support it, because she was at our last meeting just as an observer to see if it's what she would fit in, and she was well accepted.
Perfect. Thank you, Councillor Olmsted. Any additional comments?
No comments, thank you.
Any questions or comments from council? I'm always glad to see another member of the community step up and volunteer for something as important as our library, so this is excellent. With that, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor? And it's carried unanimously. Thank you. Next item is the Integrity Commissioner 2024 Annual Update. Lots of annual updates today. The recommendation is the Council of Township Whitewater Region receive the Integrity Commissioner's 2024 Annual Update for information purposes. Mover and a seconder, please. So Deputy Mayor, Councillor Moore, and this is going to the clerk. Okay.
We received Mr. Fleming's 2024 annual report. There was no code of conduct complaints and one request for advice. He also noted that the province may still provide a provincial wide code of conduct. It's still up in the air until after the federal election, but he did point it out in his report. And if you remember, February 19th, 2025, staff brought forward a report supporting an extension to the current agreement, and this will bring the contract up at the end of 2026 with a new term of council. And this will keep us in line with other municipalities if we're interested in joining an RFP with them. So back to you if you have any questions.
Great, thank you. Deputy Mayor, mover.
None at this time, thank you, Mayor.
Good. Councillor Moore is a seconder.
Just a comment. I thought we were getting an update on the changes that were coming, and I guess because of the elections and whatever else is happening, they've decided to hold off. So there may not be any changes for this term of council.
Yeah, please, clerk, can you clarify anything?
I can't clarify yet. You know what I know. We don't know anything yet, so we're just waiting to hear. There's still rumblings about it, but nothing's come down the pipes yet.
Good. And I'm looking at the CAO because I think we looked at training at AMO, and some of them included code of conduct discussions, or was that at Roma? Does that trigger anything in your memory?
No, it's not triggering anything. No.
Okay.
I would expect, though, that through AMO, if there's new legislation that does get passed that implements a program, that it'll get funneled through AMO, and there'll be some sort of educational opportunities for members of council, and the impacts of any change will be assessed by AMO and other associations and see how it impacts us. But more to come, I would say. Yeah.
Good. So this clearly, as your comment is, we don't know what's happening in the future, but this bridges the gap until we can learn more. Perfect. Any other comments or questions from members of council? Okay, I see none. We'll call for a vote. All those in favor? And it's carried unanimously. Thank you. Next item, Beachburg Lions Club and the FCC Agrispirit Fund. So the recommendation is that the Council of the Township Whitewater Region, 1, support the Beachburg Lions Club's Farm Credit Canada Agrispirit Fund application for an extension of an enclosed ramp and barrier-free washroom, and 2, authorize the CAO to execute necessary documents with the Beachburg Lions Club. Mover and a seconder, please. So Councillor Trim and Councillor Tabbert. CAO or... Me? Oh, sorry. It's okay. Clerk.
The Beachburg Lions Club is applying for a grant from the FCC Agrispirit Fund to put an extension on the hall for an enclosed ramp and a barrier-free washroom. The FCC Agrispirit Fund supports rural communities, anything less than 150,000 people across Canada, for capital projects that can qualify. Eligible organizations can apply up to $25,000 every 5 years. One of the grant's provisions, though, is that the organization partner with their local municipality to qualify for the funding. If selected for the funding, the grant will be dispersed to the municipality. The Beachburg Lion Club will have to work with the treasurer to get the funding. If they're successful with the grant, the township will have to enter into an agreement that shows that we are in support of the application. And the work to the hall will ensure that the hall continues to be accessible to persons with disabilities. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Clerk. I scribbled and I couldn't read my writing for a second. Mover, Councillor Trim. Any comments or questions?
Nothing further, my previous comments stand.
Okay. And Councillor Tabbert, seconder.
I'm hoping this is supportive because they are great community supporters in Whitewater region.
Perfect. Any other comments or questions from members of council? No. And the question I'll throw at staff is just to confirm the impact from a staffing perspective, managing the money, the agreement, it's all achievable within work plan and those impacts?
We'll make it work. It's a grand goal to go forward, and it's no impact to the township itself. We're just a flow through. So we'll help out in any way we can.
Perfect. Excellent. With that, I will call for a vote. All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item number 10, our notices of motion. Is there any notices from any member of council today? No? And I'll get the clerk again just to give us an update on the outstanding ones.
So we still have 2. Thank you.
Excellent.
You want me to note them?
Yes, please, just for the public.
Watchhorn and Anderson Drive, and oh yeah, that's right. First responders. Yeah.
Yeah, first
Thank you.
responders of the fire
Thank you.
department. Excellent. Good. So there's just 2 outstanding and none received today. Good. Next is correspondence. We have no items requiring direction. We have a number of information items. We won't go through the individual items unless a member of council would like, or staff. I'll open it up to staff as well. But is there any member of council that has any questions on any of the 4 items listed in the information items? Good. Councillor Trim.
Yes, just going through the medical officer of health report, I note that while even one death due to overdose is too many, it seems like, and I'm hoping this is the case, that the strategies that the county and other organizations are in collaboration are doing is having some positive results. So I noted that going through, and as I said, one is too many, but it seems to be getting better.
No, you're absolutely correct. The community drug strategy that's been implemented by the Renfrew and District Health Unit and all of the partners involved have made a substantial impact. MESA, now the Heart Hub, the SUAP application, like these at the county level, they're really being able to make progress. Like you said, we haven't taken the number to 0, but it has made a dramatic impact. So thank you for noting that. Any other members of council? Yes, Deputy Mayor?
Thank you very much. Just regarding the Volunteer Appreciation Awards, I just wanted to make it aware that I will be stepping down and not be participating in that. Generally, the mayor and I do that. I have too many relatives that are going to be probably being involved here, so I'm just going to step back and not make any decisions and not be involved, as I've got close family members that will be coming forward probably with, that already have brought forward some applications. So, thank you.
Perfect. And we'll just ask the clerk to note that basically the Deputy Mayor's declared on Volunteer Appreciation Award selection. Perfect. And from a administrative perspective, and I'm looking at the CAO to confirm the backup for government affairs, is that what we call it? General government is Councillor Moore. So Councillor Moore would be the default setting into that. If there's any member of council that wants to discuss that or has other input, please let me know. Good? Good. Any other input? Councillor Trim.
Again, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was really interested in reading the results, or the decision, I should say, of the Ontario Land Tribunal. From time to time, we are challenged about our decisions with respect to the official plan and our comprehensive zoning bylaw. And this report, in the conclusion, the county invites us to use the decision as a precedent for any other questions or concerns about our authority. And so I found that whole decision to be very interesting, and I'm hoping that we can bear that in mind if we're challenged again. Thank you, thank you very much.
Perfect, thank you. And I've asked the CAO to provide some additional comments on that item too, so CAO?
Yeah, and I'll just sort of rephrase what Bruce, the manager of planning at the county, has indicated in his email. His email is the last document attached to the decision of the tribunal. But essentially, what the county was faced with as they provided planning services for McNabb Braeside is a proponent was reluctant to submit certain studies, hydrogeological assessment, noise impact assessment. And the applicant's refusal to submit that, essentially the applicant appealed to the local planning appeal tribunal, LPAT, or OLT rather, Ontario Land Tribunal now, indicating that he shouldn't be required to submit these studies. So the county represented the township of McNabb Braeside. The county Renfrew was there. And essentially, the outcome was, and it's interesting enough because this is an issue that we, Whitewater Region, deal with our private property owners and private property rights, which is common in our area. So the appellant argued that the county's request for studies infringed on their private property rights, suggesting that the official plans only apply to public lands owned by municipalities. You may have heard this as recently in the last 2 or 3 months. So the tribunal in this case, and the decision was made in the last month, the tribunal rejected this argument, emphasizing that the Planning Act mandates municipalities to ensure conformity with official plans when evaluating applications, regardless of land ownership. So this land ownership assertion appears by OLT to be false. The tribunal dismissed the appeal from the resident, concluding that the applicant's refusal to provide the necessary studies demonstrates non-compliance with the PPS and the county official plan provincial policy statement. So the decision reaffirms that municipalities have the authority to apply the official plan policies to private lands when considering development proposals. So council has been distributed a legal opinion around the same matter. It is a few years old that was received by the county, but again, this reasserts the position both for the county and township that we have the authority to implement the policies of the official plan. One of the paragraphs they reference that Bruce had highlighted in his email is paragraph 28 from the OLT decision, and it just reiterates that with respect to municipalities lacking authority to regulate lands that don't belong to it. So the applicant referenced several sections of the act, of the municipal act, that were not helpful nor useful for the tribunal. So it is well understood through legislation and case law that municipalities have the ability to regulate lands within their jurisdiction through application of their official plans. So I think it paints a pretty clear picture in my eyes that we have the authority to implement our planning policies as legislated by the province. So I think it's an important turning point perhaps when managing some applications, recognizing that studies are important and they could be scoped and implemented in different fashions, but just noting that we don't have to own the lands to implement our official plan, which is important. Thanks so much.
Thanks, CAO. Does that trigger any other comments or questions from council? No, I'll just make, I appreciate the additional context. I think this is great in terms of building up on a better understanding of the complexities of land use and the acts that apply. I also found it interesting the land tribunal and the ability that anybody in a part of these negotiations has the authority, as long as they do what either the applicant or whatever the conditions are that are outlined as part of the planning process, have the ability to appeal their issue to another level in order to have it to assessed. So this is a perfect example of the system working to ensure that there's that double check. So excellent. Good, no other comments. Is there any other comments on the 4 items before I continue? Good. Seeing none, we're going to go on to the next item on the agenda, which is number 12, which is announcements. And with the council's indulgence, I'm going to propose that we do the announcements in reverse order this time. If no one has any objections to that, I'm going to start with Councillor Trim.
Yes, I have one. Maybe most of the people here, but for the public that might be listening, Country Kitchen restaurant is open. And Colleen and I had a wonderful breakfast there this morning. And so that's another business opened in our community. I don't know what plans the owner may have about an official opening, but I went there anyway, and it was good. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that, Councillor Trim. And if they would like to do an opening, we'd be more than willing to help advertise their business. And I'll have to put on my list of places to go for breakfast. Councillor Moore.
Just to announce that the seniors group is taking part in the Grand Pals program. So we've had our second meeting with the Grand Pals at Beachburg Public School, and all appears to be going well, and we look forward to our next 4 sessions. Thank you.
Excellent. Councillor Olmsted.
I just don't want to steal any of Councillor Talbert's thunder. So I'm going to defer to Councillor Talbert.
Councillor Talbert.
I don't think I'm stealing anything from Councillor Olmsted. I've got 3 pieces of paper here in front of me, and apparently, well, I shouldn't say apparently, I know that the township is providing summer camps this week through various organizations. So the first one is the Boys and Girls Club of Renfrew County are hosting camps in Cobden, Beachburg, and Westmeath. The cost is $200 a week, and it's from 8:30 to 4:30 for people, children ages 4 to 12, and I'm sure there's more information online for that. The CRC Community Resource Center, yes, thank you, in Killaloe is hosting summer day camps, and we have one in Westmeath, July 8th to July 11th, in Cobden on August 5th to August 8th. And that's the local ones. But along with those 2 camps, on the Friday of those camps, they're hosting youth camps and inviting our youth to come to the camps on the Friday with their bikes and helmets, and there'll be a repair clinic and community ride. So any more information, I'm sure we can have, you can call the township and be provided with that. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. And Deputy Mayor, any announcements?
Thank you, Mayor. No, I have nothing at this time. Thank you.
Good. And CAO.
If I could just, in response to the snowmobile question and the banners, so I did find the most recent version. So if on your screen in front of you, there are snowmobiles on the updated version. So this is the version that will be manufactured, and it has snowmobiles on it. Just to close that out. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Excellent. We'll just secretarially amend the report to reflect that. That's good. Good. Any other announcements? Good. The only other announcement, I'll throw one on the table. I've been talking to the CAO of potentially scheduling in a little bit of a workshop on asset management planning. And you may, he may be reaching out to coordinate some potential dates with members of council to see if we could coordinate something for that effect. So that'll come shortly. Next item, number 13, is our bylaws. And we have 3 bylaws, including the confirmatory bylaw listed on our agenda. This recommendation is, be it resolved that the bylaws listed on the April 2nd, 2025 agenda be taken as read and passed. A mover and a seconder, please. So Deputy Mayor and Councillor Moore. Any final comments from any member of council on the 2 bylaws and the confirmatory bylaw? Seeing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Unanimously passed. Clerk, no closed session?
Correct.
And therefore, we are adjourned at 2:11 p.m. Thank you, folks.